Welcome to viewers of Supreme Master Television. Vegetarianism, the noble way of living. Today we're celebrating St. Patrick's Day and we're going to make some traditional Irish recipes. I will demonstrate tea brack
and I'll be making some candied peel tea scones.
What we need to make this tea brack is 1.5 pounds of flour, 1 pound of dried fruit, and the dried fruit can be sultanas, raisins and currants. That was usually traditional in Ireland. And we use 1 pound of sugar. We also use into the flour some mixed spice. The night before, we soak the dried fruit in tea. We make up to 600 mils of tea. And here I have the 1.5 pounds of sieved flour, which I've added 2 teaspoons of mixed spice. And we also use 1 egg replacement. And to make 1 egg, you use 1.5 spoon of this to 30 mils of water. So we shall start our recipe then. So into the bowl I will put my soaked fruit. So this is the 1 pound of dried fruit and the 600 mils of tea. We mix the egg replacement, the 1.5 spoons with the 30 mils of water, and then we add that to the fruit mixture. I'll just give this a stir to make sure that the sugar is well dissolved with the fruit. So we add our egg replacement. Lovely. And we just give that a good mix round. We need to preheat the oven. We put it in at 175 degrees. So we preheat it for 5 minutes. Then to this mixture we stir well. The egg replacement is in, the fruit and tea. So now we add the flour. So we stir well. The flour and spice are sieved in together. Yeah. It's self-raising flour, so already the raising agent is in the flour. This recipe was used in Ireland for all celebrations like Christmas, Easter and of course St. Patrick's Day. So nowadays there's a lot of other fruits available and there's no reason why you can't add a little bit of dates or indeed some nuts if you like. So that's roughly what the consistency would be like when you've added in your flour. And usually when we make this, we make 2 pound loaf tins. We lined our tins with greaseproof paper. Just try to divide evenly among the tins. Okay, we have our first loaf in. So I just give this another mix to make sure all the fruit and flour is well mixed together. So we fill in our second loaf then. Just pour into the second tin.
Okay, that's fine.
And it's very handy to cook 2 together. They'll fit on the oven shelf side by side. And it usually takes about 1.5 hours to cook, but I think it's always a good idea just to test with the skewer. And when that comes out dry, you know it's cooked. So this is what our tea brack should look like. So we put it into the oven. It takes about 1.5 hours to cook. The oven about 175 degrees. Okay, now I will hand you over to my colleague who will demonstrate the next dish.
So now I'm going to show you how to make some candied peel tea scones. So the ingredients we need for this is some flour, 600 grams of self-raising flour. We need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 3 teaspoons of baking powder. We need 60 grams of sugar, and we need 150 grams of candied peel. Now this is simply lemon and orange peel that has been crystallized in sugar. You can buy this in any supermarket or health food shop. So we have about 100 grams of soya milk. I also have some flour here, and that will be for my board later on. So we can make a start now. So into the flour, I'll just make a little well, and I'll add my 1/4 teaspoon of salt and my 3 teaspoons of baking powder. This flour has already been sifted. And now I can add my sugar. So now we need to add in our 150 grams of dairy-free sunflower spread margarine. So into the bowl. So I mix this around until it resembles fine breadcrumbs. Now, not only would we use this for St. Patrick's Day, but these are used every day. These scones would be used every day in everyday Irish life. You could have it for your 11s or for your afternoon tea. Or if anybody was calling to the house, you'd always make a few scones, pop them in the oven, and in no time you have a nice little party piece there to go out on a plate with your coffee or your tea. You can use raisins if you'd like to put those in, or you could also use nuts. So you can vary it up to yourself, what you like. So I think that's mixed enough now. And we can add in our candied peel. This is nice and citrusy.
And they're served in all the tea and coffee shops around Ireland.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now we'll add in our soya milk. Make a nice little well in the centre and mix in the milk. If you feel it's a little bit dry, you can just add in a little more milk.
And again, this is very handy because you don't need machinery or anything, you just need your bowl and your spoon. I suppose you could use something like chocolate chips as well, that would be very nice.
Yes, yeah, you could, anything
yeah.
like that. I'm going to do it with my hands now. I think I can get the feel of it then and clear the bowl. So now my mixture is more or less mixed, and at the beginning I said we needed 100 grams of soya milk, but now with the amount of flour and everything I've used here, to get this consistency that I have now, it takes 250 grams of soya milk. So you'll know yourself as you're mixing it, this is the consistency you need at the end. It's nice and soft and wet, not too dry and not too wet either. And what I need to do now, I need to use some of my flour here to flour the board. I'm going to turn out half of the mixture here, and I'm going to cut them into 1-inch pieces, square pieces, before I put them into the oven to be cooked. Just a little on top here to make it smooth.
you like me to prepare the tin?
That'd be terrific. So maybe I'll use this roller. Just a little. Roll it out to the size. So now we just make a few cuts in it here. More or less keep them the same size. And just cut them down the centre. And put them onto our board before we put them into the oven.
I have the oven already.
200 degrees. 200 degrees. And it comes out nice and clean out of the bowl. This is the way you need it, all mixed into your hands here and ready to go. Just even it off here now with the roller. Into about an inch. I didn't use the cutter because the cutter cuts into rounds and then you have to knead it up again. So just for handiness sake, I did it this way today. But you can do it any way you want, really.
Shape, I suppose you can. We had a shamrock cutter, we could make a little shamrock.
It would have been great,
yeah.
So that's your finished little dish now, and into the oven for 15 minutes.
After 1.5 hours, the brack should be cooked. You can test the cooking by inserting the skewer in through, and if it comes out dry and clean, you know for sure your brack is cooked. If you want this shiny surface, I use some agave syrup just to paint over, but that's optional. So we just remove our greaseproof paper and we cut down in slices, and we serve this with a little margarine, sunflower or soya, and this is actually very traditional. And that's roughly
Looks delicious.
the appearance of what the brack would look like. So I just serve a little bit on the plate. So basically that's what our brack would look like. And normally we would serve this with a little butter, and if you like jam, that's also acceptable.
So after 15 minutes, our tea scones are ready. So we cut them in the middle and we serve them with soya margarine and jam. That's strawberry jam, but you can use any jam you like.
Yeah.
Also, if you like it creamy, you can use some cream in the centre instead of your margarine, and you can put your jam also. So we'll continue on and make a few more. Now that the cakes are cooked, we can start celebrating St. Patrick's Day.
That's good.
So would you like to taste?
Oh, I'd love. Yeah.
Okay, help yourself
Thank you
there.
very much. I just take a plate.
Yes. And I'll taste one of yours.
Please do. Yeah. Delicious.
Very nice.
I haven't had these with the candied pea before.
How do you find them?
Oh, delicious.
And this is delicious as always. I love brack. At Halloween we also have Brack. It's traditional.
It's
Everybody buys a Brack at Halloween.
And
so I just love this.
Coming up next, between Master and Disciples on Supreme Master Television.
Please stay tuned.